Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry, the boater. Captain Patrick. Mike, the mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Okay, last week we were talking a lot about Barry the boater's trailer woes. Trailer tales with Barry the boater. Could be a feature. I don't know. That we
a regular feature.
Right. But we do have an update on that coming up. But before we do this is one of the best stories we have come across on the world of boating in ages. And,
is it breaking news?
It's not really breaking news. No, it's just a story that kind of illustrates why sleepwalking is bad for boating. You don't really. Maybe you don't even need a story to realize how bad a trait that is for a boater. But
it's got to be a pretty good story to beat the pictures that Barry is texting us of a pineapple for some reason.
Huh. Okay.
Hey, I grew that pineapple.
He's just proud of his fruit.
All right. So
okay.
A story that for some reason has brought Greg mirth and enjoyment to no end.
Yeah.
And he finds quite humorous. Ventura, California.
Of course.
Rescuers said a miracle of God saved a fisherman who fell overboard into the southern California waters when he woke up in the middle of the night and began sleepwalking off of the boat. Now, you'll never
wait. Hey, he didn't sleepwalk on the water. He was sleepwalking on the boat and fell off the boat.
Yeah,
he was sleepwalking and woke up when he hit the water. Awesome.
Unless you read the story, which knowing Mike and Barry, they did not. What is this gentleman's last name?
Good point. I don't know. Why would it matter?
Really?
Christ.
His name.
If he walked on water, it would have been. Yes.
I want to meet him if that happened.
Yeah.
His name literally is Dylan Fogg.
Okay. So he was walking around in a fog in the middle of the night.
There you go. There's Greg with the obvious joke.
Right.
So
hilarious.
His quote after they rescued him was, "It was almost like a dream. This can't be real."
A wet one.
Okay,
don't go there,
Greg.
Barry. Stop it. Just stop it right now.
Hold on. Between around like 3 or 5, I walked. This is his words. This is as reported.
Yeah.
I walked, and somehow fell over the boat, hit the water, and woke up right away.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, actually, when that happens, don't you automatically pee yourself or something? That's one of those things, isn't it?
The 20-year-old
sticks your hand in your water and your hand in water and you're sleeping.
Here's my problem with this story and with Mr. Fogg.
Okay.
The 20-year-old said he has a history of sleepwalking when exhausted. As a commercial fisherman, he said he just spent the last 2 days working on the boat fishing for squid.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are jobs that I think if you have a history of sleepwalking when exhausted, you should not be allowed to perform.
During the interview process, are you allowed to ask that? Is that legal in California? By the way, do you have any history of sleepwalking?
Commercial fisherman would be one. Truck driver would probably be number 2. Airline pilot probably be number 3. We don't want our
that
airline
should be
pilots.
That should be number 1.
Well,
really.
yeah. Well, hold on. A trucker and an airline pilot. I think just sleeping on the job would be a problem. I don't know if sleepwalking would be an issue, but
you don't think sleepwalking on a jet aircraft would be a problem?
Only if you open the door.
Maybe. Right. I don't know. I mean,
and sleepwalking as a commercial truck driver, especially if you drive as a tandem, that could be problematic.
Well, where are you going
That
to
is-
walk? In the cab? I mean, you can't really get
Right
up and
out,
walk.
obviously,
Right
right,
out
out
the
the door, Greg.
70 miles an hour down the road. All of a sudden, you
This
hear
guy,
a door
this
open
guy
up.
walked right off the boat into the water.
Look, the problem is if the truck driver is sleepwalking, he's already fallen asleep, so he's
Right.
already had the wreck.
Yeah,
So
that's.
he's already
I
awake.
think.
No,
well,
he's
you're-
talking about a tandem. He's talking about a tandem team.
Okay. Well, I
They
think
have
what
one
we
in the
can
cab,
all
yeah.
agree is that sleepwalking's probably not a trait for a lot of professions that you want to have going in, especially fishermen. I mean, that's what's so great about this is just like you can just picture this so perfectly. You know, the guy gets up in the middle of the night and just walks right off the
Hey.
boat.
Well,
It's
here,
like-
we're going to continue on with this story because there's some more interesting tidbits here.
Okay.
So he was a former high school water polo player,
Of course.
water polo player.
Yeah.
So his training kicked in immediately, and he went and scored a goal. I don't. I mean, I don't know what kind of training. I mean, you swim or you don't know how to swim. I mean, it's one of the two. I don't know where water polo training comes into play, but
Well, you tread water.
Right. Well,
yeah,
the thing
'cause
is,
that's the only place you learn how to do that is playing water polo.
well, it didn't do a lot for him
No, you
because he fell off the boat sleepwalking, and then he was at sea for how many hours?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
So when he went in the water, he just kind of put his head down and followed the swell and just started swimming. That's all I really knew how to do. It definitely was scary. But at this point, it was kind of my best shot of getting to the shipping lanes. Yeah, because they're going to spot you. Now,
Turn him into squid.
now, how long, guys, and not Greg, because he read the story, even though he didn't know the guy's last name. How long was he in the water before the crew realized he was gone? How long? And it's hours. How many hours was he missing before the crew said, "Hey, anybody
Where's
seen
Fog?
Dylan?"
Where's fuck?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You guess first, Mike.
I 6 hours.
All right.
Oh,
Barry?
you read the story.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, we don't have to go
All
to
right.
No,
Barry
that was
then.
actually a wild guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I figured
I-
about 8 to 10. Okay.
Mhm.
So I've got a funny story that it kind of parallels this, but I'll tell it when you guys are ready.
Okay. Well, yeah. What else is there other than this? 6 hours at sea, and his
Well-
water polo skills saved his life. That's what he credits his survival
No,
to.
that's 6
Well,
hours. That's 6 hours before the crew noticed he was missing.
Right. And in audio obtained by ABC7, you can hear fear in the captain's voice, worried of what was happening. And here's the captain. I have an interesting situation here. No, this isn't interesting. It's not an interesting situation. This is an emergency situation. But
Okay.
I have an interesting situation here. We are missing a crewman. His bunk is empty. We went to wake him up. His bunk is empty, and we've been searching the boat for 5 minutes. We don't know how long he's been gone. You go ahead and talk to me. I need some advice. It's spooky.
Spooky. What, he thought he'd been abducted by aliens or just.
I don't know, man. This whole thing. First of all, if I'm Dylan Fogg, again, this is not a job that you should have if you're prone to sleepwalking when you get exhausted, because working on a commercial vessel, that's going to happen. Two, this captain doesn't seem to be, based on this recording, really kind of person that I'd want to be working for out
He's
on
not
the water.
excitable.
Yeah.
What, just because it took him
Oh,
6
my
hours to realize he was missing a crew member? Or why? Or what else?
Well-
Just his general. We are missing a crewman. His
Yeah.
bunk is empty.
Right.
We went to wake him up. His bunk is empty. We've been searching the boat for 5 minutes. We don't know how long he's been gone. You go ahead and talk to me. I need some advice. It's spooky.
That's a very weird choice of words.
Yeah,
It
that
is.
is.
Spooky
That's-
is
But I do know how
odd.
he feels.
Yeah.
That's not a guy that
Were
I
they
wanna work-
cruising
so-
the Bermuda Triangle? No, they were in
No,
California waters.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything could happen
California.
out there.
Or you
though.
could be, great white shark bait.
Yeah.
He's lucky that didn't happen.
Oh, golly. Well, I'll tell you what, whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. This is an awesome story. It's like if you fall off the boat, you're going to blame it on sleepwalking? Wow. Okay. God bless you. More coming up.
listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I used to have a boat.
You did?
Yeah, she was pretty damn sweet, man. I love that boat.
So why'd you lose it?
Sometimes the things we love aren't long for this world, Bird. Especially when your alcoholic ex-wife gets drunk and falls overboard and drowns.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the boater, Captain Patrick, and Mike the mariner rounding out the crew. Okay, so if you fall overboard and want a good story, and you don't want to just take credit that you were a klutz, you can make up the excuse that you were sleepwalking and come up with it. I mean, that's almost as good as an alien abduction or something, you know. Or ghosts or whatever, but I don't know. That's a crazy story.
Or it could be something lame like losing track of your dad, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, that happened.
Losing track of your dad? What do you mean?
Yeah, about 8 years ago. Well, about 8 years ago, we were moving my dad's boat back from the Keys to Fort Pierce, and I was running the boat at the lower helm station. My brother was asleep on the bunk on the other side.
Yeah.
And my dad was laying down in the cockpit with his head on a fender, just relaxing.
Yeah.
And that's the last time I saw him. So, I glanced back, I'm watching, I'm paying attention to where we're going. So probably, I don't know, 20 minutes later, I turn around and I look back and my dad's not there. So I don't remember him walking past me to get to the cabin. So I woke my brother up. I said, did Dad walk by and I didn't notice? And did he go into the cabin because he's not in the cockpit? And he said, no. So I go into panic mode, chop the throttles, start yelling for my dad. Where are you? Where are you? And then I hear from up above, I'm up here. Why? I go, oh.
I'm in heaven.
So from above. No, he had gotten up and climbed up to the tuna tower to play with the electronics at the tuna tower film station without saying anything to me.
Okay.
So,
and that's when Mike learned about situational awareness.
Yes. Well, I thought, man, he could have fallen overboard 10 miles ago. I mean, I have no idea when it could have happened, but thank God, it was just a goofy situation. But
well, talking about goofy situations, and since we're kind of on this man overboard or not overboard or voices from above story, up on Lake Vermilion in Minnesota, there was an incident. Now, Mike and Barry, I'm sure as boaters, you guys probably have your favorite boating hats, do you not?
Well, Barry's wearing one right now.
Absolutely.
You see this on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.
Barry doesn't wear that one out boating. Most people are going to wear one that's got a bill on it,
which is a good thing. He gets smacked around, abused.
Okay, so have you ever been in a situation, and I know I have in my time out, of course, running boats, testing boats, things like that, where the inevitable happens, which is your hat goes bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. I stop, turn around, and fetch it.
And it happens. I mean, it's it's just one of those things. You're behind the windshield or the windscreen. Maybe you pop your head up, whatever, or you forgot to turn it around backwards and you took off, and there goes your hat. And to Barry's point, you're probably spinning around, going back, and hopefully it's still floating. Especially if it's your favorite hat. I had a couple of these that I got out at Lake X. That were, I don't even think they make them anymore. They've got the lake dialed in at Lake X logo, on the side of the hat for Mercury.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's out on this boat with his son, and I'm going to assume that this was probably a tiller controlled outboard motor, and his hat blows off. And what does he do? He gets up and he reaches for it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like you're going to catch it. Physics alone. You're not. So as he gets up and he reaches for his hat that's blown off his head, he hits the motor, boat spins around and throws him into the water.
Aha. He wasn't even sleepwalking.
Wasn't sleepwalking. Now, the unfortunate thing was he was not hit by the boat motor or by the boat itself, but going overboard, he did get his hand hung up on a cleat. And that is a mark.
Owie.
That is what caused some serious injuries. They didn't go into detail. Now, both the father and son were wearing life jackets at the time of the incident, so kudos to them. But listen, if you're out on the water and you're wearing, first of all, don't wear your favorite hat.
That stays home.
Wear the crappy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what Barry's wearing.
No, hey, this is wool.
and maybe have the little lanyard, the chin strap, so that, if it does go bye-bye, at least it gets, it's going to fly off and it's only going to hit your back and it's going to, be held in place and, you don't lose your favorite hat. But if that happens, let it go.
Let it go.
It's okay. It's just a hat. You can chop, slow down, make sure your navigation area is clear, make your 180, go back, follow your wake, cut your speed. And if you see your hat floating, now you have a choice. Don't go lean over the side of your boat because you know what's going to happen. You're going to wind up in the drink, probably going after your hat. So hopefully you've got a boat hook on board or a small child that you can hang over the side.
I was going to say, what David sacrifice that was annoying you earlier. And
listen, I said hang over the side. Mike's the one who said throw him in the water.
Yeah.
I just want to make that perfectly clear.
If they have their,
I did not advocate for throwing small children into the water to retrieve a hat. I advocated for hanging them over the side of the boat.
Yeah,
usually holding them by the belt.
Yeah, that sounds
PFT,
perfectly safe.
You pick them up like a little machine that picks up toys, and you just hang them over the side. He picks up the hat, you pull them back in.
We're going to get letters. We're going to get letters because of this.
Yeah, we'll file them accordingly.
Yeah, you're getting letters, not me.
That's fun.
So I guess the moral of the story, like I said, wear a crappy hat.
Mike said that with a certain degree of authority and confidence. Like that may have been something that he's done before.
Can't go in the
Maybe,
water.
but my son is still alive and he's thriving.
There you go.
Yeah, there was
All
this
right.
time when he was bringing his dad's boat back from the Keys when he thought his dad wound up in the water, and he took his son and chucked him in to go find Grandpa.
Go. And now
We'll
he
come
has
back for
nightmares,
you.
right?
Don't worry.
I don't want to go boating with you anymore.
Just move your arms around. You'll stay afloat. I worry
Okay.
about you sometimes, Mike.
Yeah.
I
All
do
right.
too.
Well, we've had two very colorful stories for sure so far on the world of boating. We got to get to the Tales of Barry's Trailer update here in just a bit because last week we were talking about this, and despite the fact that he wears a red watch cap, and it won't get blown away because it's definitely aerodynamic and has no bill on it like most boating hats do.
And it's stapled to my head.
Oh, there's that.
Well, it's Velcro. It's the
Surgically
Velcro
applied,
effect.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And his excuse is, he dreamt it and had a dream. And then he walked into a refrigerator or something, and that covers up the bruises on your forehead or something. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah.
Or
go
for
with
my
that.
wife.
That's coming up next. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
My captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills.
All right, dismissed. Well, just to remind you, Pied Piper is still a sinking ship, so...
Enough with the maritime metaphors. You don't have to walk the plank on a sinking ship.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. That is me, along with Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information and keep you updated on the Tales of the Trailer from Barry the Boater. Last week, he was telling us his problem with his trailer and the tires that basically just rotted out. Luckily, he wasn't out on the water or at a marina when it happened. He still had it in the driveway and realized, oh, damn.
Damn.
I got no wheels, but he's got it fixed. He's actually switched out his hat now, too.
Yeah, I'm wearing my actual boating hat.
But he is wearing, what is it, a lasso around your chin? So,
Yeah,
so when you get a
holds
gust
the hat
of
in place.
wind when you're talking on the World of Boating, it won't blow off your noggin. Oh,
Well,
you got
the
both
hot air
hats
that
on.
Comes from, yeah. Well, I want to keep my head warm.
Okay.
It's cold down here.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right, so Barry, you contacted the trailer manufacturer. Was that Easy Loader or Shortlander?
Easy Loader.
All right.
Easy Loader, okay.
And how are they with your request?
Well, first off, we got to back up and say what the problem was. Not only was it the tires, but the brackets across the frame of the trailer.
No,
basically,
it's actually the cross member part of the frame, plus his hubs, plus his leaf springs, plus
No,
the
the leaf
shackles
springs are
for the
good.
leaf springs.
No, those are
plus-
okay.
I thought you had mentioned that.
No, I replaced those. They have some surface rust, but those are fairly new.
But the crossbars were rusted out.
The cross member is lost about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch of metal, so it's a little skinnier than it should be.
Okay.
So let's see, what have I completed so far? I ran new coax for the radio, installed new connectors, and checked it all out. It's running.
That's not part of the trailer.
Yeah.
That's not part. Well, the boat. Remember, we also had to go over the boat too.
Well, we were talking about the trailer, Barry. Focus on the trailer.
Okay.
Focus.
Yes, I'll focus.
Keep your brain warm with those 2 hats you're wearing.
There was a nice woman over at Easy Loader who knew exactly which hubs I needed and sent me 2 new, brand new. They look like they're I don't know what they're plated with, whether it's not zinc, but beautiful plated
diamonds
hubs. Yeah, it could be a new set of hubs with bearings and the new see-through cups and everything, because these are oil filled.
Oh wow!
They are not grease.
So you were able to find that, and they sent you the
that
parts.
was easy. Yeah,
Okay.
they sent it. It was here the next day.
Nice.
In the meantime, my tires came in, and I had them installed onto the rims.
Mm-hmm.
And from you guys told me that they don't balance tires for trailers, so I didn't get that.
Yeah,
done.
but what about the crossbars? That was the biggest problem.
The crossbar is going to be the problem because Easy Loader no longer produces that.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. They did send me the drawings, which to me wasn't much of a drawing, but it did have some measurements.
Okay.
So my plan is right now is to unbolt it because it's not welded on each side. It's bolted.
Yeah.
I mean, with some heavy duty bolts.
That's good.
So I'm going to pop those. First, I got to put a 2x6 underneath the bunks, and I'll have my jack underneath there to take the pressure off of that section.
Yeah.
I may use a come along and wrap it around both side rails because I don't know if they're going to pop a little wide or not.
Very, very smart.
Okay. And then just break those 2 bolts loose, unbolt it from the bunks, slide the thing out, and then there's a couple of different trailer places down here I might check out, see if they'll either repair it or build me a new one.
Okay.
I've talked to some people that do welding work, and they said they've seen people where they will do is they will cut metal, maybe 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch plate, and they'll weld it. In other words, box it all in essentially. So if
but by the time you pay somebody to do that, you probably just have a new cross member made.
I would guess, but I don't, this is a pretty substantial piece of metal. I don't think it's a 5-minute job to make it. It's square tubing. That's bent.
No, but there are fab shops all over the place that can make
these things.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got the original. All they got to do is
copy
basically, you're giving them a pattern.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah,
3D print this for me, will you?
Well, yeah, that would be great. But that's the plan is if they can make me a new one, that'll already be. Now, do you take it somewhere to have it zinc dipped, or do they do that there? I don't know.
They would usually have it done for you.
Yeah.
If they don't do it themselves, they would send it out. Fab shop can produce the metal typically to whatever specs you require. But if they need to send it out to get it zinc dipped, they just do that and then bring it back and deliver it to you.
Yeah. How much is one of these trailers, Barry? Have you even went to go look what it costs
A new trailer? I have no idea what a new trailer would cost.
$5,000.
$5,000 for a 17-footer boat? Would it be that much, Patrick?
That's about right. Yeah, that's probably about
Seriously? For a trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
New. Yeah, new. Yeah, absolutely.
Fix it.
Okay, I'm definitely rebuilding this.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
If I tell my wife that, I'm dead meat.
Couple rolls of duct tape. Yeah.
Trailers are not cheap, man.
I didn't think they were that expensive. I figured something like this would be $15,000 to $2,000.
Yeah. Well, so the Easy Loader lady got you the parts you needed, and you told her about these cross bracket things that you had that were rusting out. Did she give you any other ideas other than, look, here's the measurements?
She suggested there's one place down here called Ames Trailer.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone. He said there's a place called Torino down in Miami. And then I looked up. There's more trailer places than I expected out there.
Okay. All right. So you're just beginning the process.
Yeah. It'll take a couple of weeks.
The tale of Barry's trailer continues.
It will continue. Yeah. Everything else is good on it. I checked it. All the other cross members are clean, pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this one, for whatever reason,
rusted
the
out.
saltwater didn't like it as much as the other one. Yeah.
But you have no idea to know why. They were just
Well,
get out in there, got trapped.
it could have been on the interior section that, may
Didn't
not
rent
have
your
gotten-
trailer good after a day out on the water, maybe?
I do, and I was using that salt water off, whatever they call it. You mix it with water and
Salt away.
Salt away. And what I would do is once I launched the boat and I went to park the trailer, the first thing I would do before I go back to the boat was to spray the whole thing down with this salt away.
Yeah.
So it's not sitting there just eating it away while I'm out there enjoying myself.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because when I was heavy into, of course, doing deliveries and meeting customers, and I'd have these that 54-foot long Hostar hydraulic water launch. That's the one that I'd have the portable sprayer that I take with me with the salt away.
Yeah, and it only takes a few minutes to do it, and I would just soak the whole thing down. But I'm not going to complain because all the other cross members, as I said, look good. I will wash the whole thing down.
Let me ask you this, Greg. I think alluded to something that maybe water had gotten trapped inside and started the issue from inside.
No, there's a pee hole.
That's what I was going to ask.
Was it clogged? Was your pee hole clogged?
No, it went.
Are we allowed to say that on the radio?
Yeah.
I kind of
Use
wonder.
a catheter, it was fine.
Okay.
I set him up for it, and I regretted it as soon as I did it.
It's your fault.
It just, I don't know. It just, for whatever reason, that particular one is failing, and it's got to be changed out.
All right.
So,
but you have no idea what it'll cost to get that prefab jet.
well, if it's $5,000 for a new trailer, I got to figure this is
You
gonna
got a
be
budget.
a little
You
bit
gotta-
more than a couple $100, unless I could find a welder.
I'm
I'd say
going
about
to, and you can report back, and we can all take a guess. I'm going to say $675.
I'm gonna say $300. I'm gonna give an extra $100, $300.
I like
for a
Greg's
couple
better.
of parts.
$567. Let's
So
write all
It
these
really
numbers
depends
down.
on what welder you talk to. A guy named Fred on the side of the street.
Well, if it's a builder, that's what it's going to be.
Okay, well, it'll be something. We'll find out as the tale of Barry's trailer continues on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew. All right, so a few minutes left. What do we got, Patrick? What else we're going to share with our passengers today?
We've got a report from Seto for the holiday boating weekend, what they saw. And I want to make it clear that when I suggested that you get a Seto membership so you don't have to pay for fuel, calling in that you've run out of fuel while, you're 8, 10, 20 miles out, wherever. I was kidding. So because I think some people may have actually
taken you up on it,
taken that advice.
Hey, 20 gallons of fuel might pay for your Seto membership.
More than pay for it. Marine towing company Seto publicized that requests for service over the Memorial Day weekend were up, which would be expected because we know there are more boaters out there. However, was up as much as 228% in the Northeast, and nearly 29% overall from 2021. So the feeling is, of course, new boaters out there. The two most common requests, reasons for calls, were dead batteries and fuel delivery.
Yeah, well, dead batteries because they sat out there playing their music all day long.
Well, there's that, and the fuel issue. Here's something, and Barry and Mike, you're well aware of this. Greg, probably not as much because he's really more of a passenger than an active boater or boat owner.
All right.
But we know that fuel gauges on boats are problematic. We know that fuel senders on fuel tanks are problematic. And I got news for the boaters out there as things go more, whether it's Garmin or Raymarine, your digital switching, traditional round analog gauges, Faria, what have you, are going away. And now you've got digital displays which means that depending upon how the manufacturer is converting that signal from the fuel sender, analog to digital via a GFL10, or going straight to the unit now, or for inboard outboard and going off of the engine data, there are so many failure points in that system now that fuel level readings have become problematic. And unless you know for sure that, yep, topped off this morning, and I know what my boat burns, because like Mike, I'm sure knows, and Barry, I'm sure knows, at certain ranges, certain RPMs, certain speed, you know what you're going to burn, you know what the expectation is. But in those digital displays, and again, you can go very, very deep into these units, you can go and change those settings and go to your fuel usage off of the engine and not be reading off of the level on the tank. So when you fuel up, you can put in, hey, I put in 228 gallons. You can be reading off the engine data. You know what your fuel burn is. You know what your fuel level is. You're not going to run out of fuel.
That's on a modern boat. I mean,
on a modern, and that's well. This is really kind of, when we say modern, you're going back now. Oh man, like on the glass cockpit displays, you're going back 7 to 10 years now that those things have been out there. So it's as you get into boating, or you're looking into a used boat, and it's got the analog gauges, and even analog gauges, the sending units, again, whether they were magnetic float, which were problematic, the old cork style, which could be problematic. You got to know your boat. You got to know your fuel level. Keep a little log book. Know what you fueled up at. I put 50 gallons in. I know what my boat burns.
Right. And there's no substitute for math. I mean, and that's exactly what I do. I keep the ship's log, because my boat's basically World War II technology, except for my navigation. Everything's toggle switches. The engines are analog. I don't have an engine computer that could translate that data into even a digital display. So I'm stuck with what I have. But it's not that hard to just understand what your fuel flow is at various RPMs and average that out. I know my boat averages about 6.5 to 7 gallons an hour the way I run it, and that gives me a very, very good read.
Yeah,
and very reliable.
Good,
Every time
experience. Barry, the boater, what say you?
Well, and then there's also something that Greg would agree to, is that when we go diving, we use the rule of thirds, where you'll use a third of your air when you go out, and a third to come back, and always have a third in reserve. And the same thing should really apply to fuel. So if you go to the same places every time, you already know how much fuel you burn in one trip, round trip, and you just keep track of those things. And as you said, a log makes a great thing. I know what my gallons per hour is on my boat, or how many miles. I think I get about 3.5 to 4 miles per gallon when I'm at exactly 4,000 RPM, and it starts to drop off after that.
Well, and that's knowing your boat, knowing your product, or at least knowing if you do have a more modern boat with glass cockpit displays, or Garmin displays, or Raymarine, digital switch, all that stuff, to know how to go into that system and recalibrate when you fuel up, so that you're watching your fuel usage, your fuel burn, and not relying on the gauge or the sender, because it's probably, next to Canvas, it's probably one of the biggest dissatisfiers that I hear about from customers, from dealers, especially with the newer technology on how to calibrate these fuel senders, especially when you put in the GFL 10s, which is a Garmin component that helps convert the signal from analog to digital. Now you've got water tanks and waste tanks, which are also being read through these flat panel displays, through the digital displays. Those are calibrated as well. It's just one of those things that doesn't have to be as frustrating or as aggravating, or to the point where it's leaving you stranded out on the water, if you know your boat and you know how to use that system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, for instance, the waste tanks, like Barry the Boater, if they don't pass the sniff test, he knows he's at the limits of his waste tank. He doesn't rely on just the digital information the monitor's giving him, right, Barry?
Well, the digital information is taking my hand and actually dipping it in there.
Whoa, hey!
Oh.
If it gets dirty, it's
you don't want to use your
digitally
digits
full.
that way.
Yeah, and we all know
it's not even up to the elbow yet. We're good.
And we all know how Mike checks depth, which is to take the nearest youngest child, tie a rope to him, throw him overboard with a weight belt.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me know when you hit bottom. Just yank on the rope.
Bring
Two
some
tugs.
bottom back. We see is
You
it
need
sand
more
or is
Tugs
it
means
mud?
I'm there. Right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, it's old school technology. But yeah, you combine that with the new gadgets and stuff. And I mean, the new stuff can help you a little bit too, but you just don't rely, you shouldn't just rely on one thing.
Common sense.
Well, a combination of everything is what I'm saying. Have stuff as backups to backups.
You don't travel across Alligator Alley when there's a sign that says last gas for 50 miles when you're running on E.
That would be good. Key word there, alligator. So,
Alligator. Yep.
We'll leave it at that for this week. Till next time. Remember, whether it's sail or motor,
Life is better as a motor.
safe boating, everyone.
Barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.